Digital dawn. Break the code. Lights on. Qubic mode. Neon rain on the city skin. Clock hits 1, we're booting in. Clean signal, no static lies. Wide open like midnight skies. Hands up, we move as one. Pulse locked in the kicking drum. True flows when the bassline hits. Room lights up, the cipher fits. No fear, no walls, just motion. Mind to mind like ocean. Say the word, ignite. We're live in the neon light. We're live in the neon light. Qubic, light it up. Cold starts dreaming when we show up.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today is a very special AMA. It is the Doge mining AMA. I know this is heavily awaited for, and I am so excited for this moment as well. Before we get started, if it's your first time here, thank you for being here with us. If you've been here before, thanks for tuning in again. Please repost this stream to your network. The more people we have, it's incredible. Say hello in the chat. I have a very special guest here today. I have Joetom. He is the core tech lead. You may be wondering, where is Raika? And she is under the weather. She is not able to make it at the moment. She is the one leading the Doge launch. So more than anything, we need to keep her well. Okay. So without further ado, welcome, Joetom.
Thank you very much, Debbie, for the intro. Yeah, it's really sad that Raika cannot be here. So because she was meant to cover all the technical part.
Yeah.
So she's like the main dev, which is working on the Doge integration. I will try to cover this part a bit. So yeah, I hope I can compensate it a bit. I wish her all the best, a quick recovery, and we'll hopefully lately see her on the 1st of April.
Yes, that would be amazing. That would be a good surprise. So we got to get her well fast.
Yeah.
Okay, well, take it away. I'll be here in the background if you need anything.
Okay, yeah, I will go. I'm gonna start with a short overview of what we're gonna talk today. So we have basically 4 topics. It's a bit about the technical architecture, about how we integrated Doge into the Qubic network. We will talk about the transition phases. So basically how we go from the current state into the desired one. We will talk about how maybe you as a miner can prepare yourself, how you can connect to the Doge infrastructure provided by Qubic, and we will have a short view on how we're going to start on the launch day. Yeah, let's go. So currently we split our network into 2 parts. So the whole network compute power is basically splitted 50% to the Monero XMR mining part and 50% to we call it AI training. It's basically redirected to our AI initiative, which is called AGORD. When we launched the XMR, the Monero integration, a few months ago, no, more than a few months ago, we did this as a proof of concept. So we wanted to demonstrate that this works, and we wanted to use the resources we already have. And that's why we did this split, which was running good, but now we need the whole power for our AI initiative to have the training accelerated. And that's why we move this 50-50 towards 100% AI training and 100% outsourced mining. In our case, we're gonna go for Doge. So how does this work? We call it internally Doge-connect or Doge-connect. We bridge basically the mining power from outside, which you use with ASICs miner. We use the script algorithm, and you can connect to any of the Qubic pools. So for you as a miner, nothing changed. You just connect your ASICs, you connect your rigs, and you can profit from the Qubic network. To have this whole part bridged, we have a tool which is called Dispatcher. This dispatcher is basically the bridge between the Qubic network and the Doge network. It translates the tasks from one to the other network and back reverse. Of course, there's some crypto involved. So we sign all the message within the network with K12 hashing, and then signed with Schnork, which we already use within the Qubic network. The interesting part here is that for internal share validation, we use our own Oracle machines. So the Qubic network runs Oracle machines which receive the tasks from the which receives the shares mined by the miners, which have a specific difficulty or a target, and they validate if a share is valid or not. And based on this decision, the so-called computers, these are the validators in the Qubic network, which receive the revenue, they will get revenue based on the Oracle results. So the Doge integration is not only outsourced mining, it also leverages the capacity of the Qubic Oracle machines using Oracle as a source of truth. Yeah. So what does this dispatcher do? In some more detail, it has a so-called Joetom receiver. This is the part which connects to any pool. So we are able to connect to our own pool. We are able to connect to a public pool. This gives us the possibility to adjust the dispatcher to our needs. So the goal is definitely that Qubic will go for a solo mining approach, which means that we go for finding Doge blocks. And that's what we're going to do with this Joetom receiver. So we're going to connect to our own infrastructure, to own Dogecoin nodes, which then back go to the Qubic network. We have a so-called task distributor. The task distributor is taking or is creating the tasks and putting it into a way that the Qubic nodes can work with it. We call it Qubic Doge mining task. That's the specific task for Doge. I will cover a bit later that the whole infrastructure is future-proof. This means that with the current implementation of the Doge mining, we cover just one chain, but the setup, the architecture is built that we can support multiple chains, or we can switch from Doge to another coin or whatever. So that's basically the Qubic internal messaging mechanics, how tasks and how solutions flow around is generic in a way that we can easily switch to other coins if it's needed in the future. Yes, of course, the dispatcher also does an internal share validation. So it basically checks if the results coming from the miners through the Qubic network are valid or not. It evaluates these shares. If it's a block, it sends it to the network. If not, it just keeps it internally. So it's basically doing some pool work, which is known from other pools. Nothing rocket science, but needed to cover all the to cover all the things we want to do. The dispatcher also gives us the capability to have some stats. So when we launch, we will publish these stats publicly so everybody can follow on how is the progress of the evolving Doge hash rate, for example. So for the people who are some bit more technical, we have here the example package, how they look. So if you build such a system, you need to think about how do messages flow in a decentralized network. You must imagine that there are hundreds of nodes of peers which are communicating to each other. So if a Doge task come into the network, every of these peers needs to see this task. So there must be a message flow within the network. You can call it the gossip protocol. Each peer connects to some of the other peers, and each peer relays the message around the network. With this generic package, we put the tasks and the solutions flowing around the Qubic network. So yeah, that's a bit technical. I'll leave it by that. Maybe if you guys think, hey, we should go into more deep into technical details, we can do a special AMA about this. And then hopefully also with Raika, because she's definitely better doing this technical stuff than me. Everybody of you who read already our blog post knows about these 3 phases. We call it the transition process from the current state to the desired state. Each of this phase has like a milestone. It is a gate so that we can decide if the output is what we want or not. So starting with phase 1, which is like the validation, it's like the test phase. We're gonna launch this into the mainnet. Means that the mining works, that the task distribution works, the solution distribution, the statistics for the community are working. Like we're basically testing everything. Already in the mainnet, because the off-net test we already are already concluded, so we are ready to go to the mainnet. These tests also include the communication with the computers, with the Qubic pools. They maybe need to check their infrastructure. They maybe need to adjust some things. And this 1-2 weeks gives us enough time to see if everything runs well or not. After phase 1, we decide, yeah, everything is good. Let's move on to next phase. And we do the same from phase 2 to phase 3. Important for the guys or for all people here which are mining on Qubic is that starting with phase 1, we're going to reduce the so-called XMR Monero marathons. We currently have 3 marathons each week, which means that a whole day the Qubic network is just mining for Monero, and we will reduce this starting with phase 1 to 2 days per week. Means that we see a phase out going down from the XMR Monero POC, and the phase in a ramp up of the Doge. So they will basically cross each other, and at the end of phase 2, the XMR stuff will be removed. So anyone who is running Monero XMR mining on Qubic will not do this anymore. That's what we had in the beginning. We have this 100% AGuard AI training, and on the other side we have 100% ASICs Doge mining by the final phase, by the final state. Yeah, It's everything described in the blog article. I recommend to go to read there. There are some more details. I just wanted to cover here so the high level things that everybody who's listening has at least some basic knowledge. So what do we do with this Doge stuff? We call it buyback. So basically what we do is that the revenues which are generated by the outsourced mining, in this case Doge, these Doge are sold from the receiving USDT, for example. We're gonna do buybacks in queues. These are Qubics, and these buyback Qubics can then be redistributed to the miners. So the revenue you will get from Doge mining within Qubic will be Qubic. It will not be, you will not receive Doge. This is an advantage for you because you can run on one side your CPU, GPU for AI training tasks, and on the other side your ASICs, and you will receive the same Qubics, which then you can go on. We assume that we will see an acceleration for the Doge revenue, meaning that the Qubic revenue, when you mine Doge via Qubic, you will see approximately 110% more revenue than if you would go only for Doge. And that's how the economics will work and how we assume that we can attract the miners to join the Qubic network. That's the idea behind. You as a miner, as a community member, you can check if you have your hardware. So you can either use old miners like the Antminer L3. They will be okay. Of course, if you compare it to an L9, you will not get the same revenue, but it's still okay to join the Qubic network. And that's the cool thing. We give everybody a chance to join the game. They should be connected. They should be hopefully updated firmware. Look that they are ready. And watch out in our Discord server. We have a Dogecoin channel. I guess that the existing pools will communicate how you can connect your miners to the pools. Right now, the computers and the pools are testing, I guess, internally. So we already see some hash rate, and they will open the test to everyone starting the 1st of April. So join our Discord, go to the channel, watch out, or watch any of the Qubic pools websites, their GitHubs, and so on to get the connection information. On the 1st of April, what will happen is that the Qubic network starts to deliver, or it starts with this message distribution, which I showed earlier in the presentation. So basically, we're going to launch it to the mainnet, and the tasks and solutions start to flow. Beginning of the 1st of April, you as a miner, you can join. Also, other pools may join Qubic. That's really cool feature too. And what will be in phase 1, as I told you, the XMR revenue will firstly stay, and then starting with phase 2, which is in 1-2 weeks, this will go down, and the Doge revenue will go up. I invite everybody to watch the community stats to create a hype around. When I look back to the XMR time, I guess there will be coming some fancy dashboards around hash rate, around blocks we find. It may be that in the beginning we will not find that many blocks, Doge blocks. But yeah, this will hopefully increase over time. Yeah, that's what we can expect for the 1st of April. This all brings us to the final state. I repeat, the final state will mean that we have on one side 100% AI training, 100% power for AGuard, for the research we do within the AI space. And on the other side, we have 100% outsourced mining with Doge. So we combine both worlds together to hopefully revolutionize the market. That's basically the idea behind. Defi, I talked a lot. So basically, we are open now for question and answers.
No questions. You answered all the questions. No. That was great. I think it was a really good explanation of what's going on. And I hope everyone could understand. If you guys have any questions, I did drop a link to the Discord channel. You have to join our Discord, and there is a Dogecoin channel. It's very active in there. We do have a few questions actually. And I just want to reiterate. So this is broken down into 3 phases. Each phase is obviously contingent upon the success of the testing and everything that happens within the phase, but likely each phase will be 1 to 2 weeks in duration. Is that correct?
Correct. Okay. That's the goal.
Yeah. So initially, we will be simultaneously mining both Monero and Dogecoin through a transition phase. And you said they will cross at some point where we will be mining less Monero and putting more power behind Doge. So interesting point. It seems that the way that it's all kind of falling into place, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it kind of mimics the way that Monero also evolved. Because when we first launched Monero mining on Qubic, it wasn't like we were earning all the blocks, right? But over a period of months, I know that it peaked in August of 2025, things started making a lot more sense. Do you think that we will see something similar?
I guess so. I was asked the same in the Discord, so I sent them like I tried to do a text chart. So likely we will see a low hash rate, and then people start to understand that joining Qubic and mining Doge is something meaningful and something also maybe lucrative for them, and then it will spike. Yeah. That's basically that's what we see on Monero, and we can expect something similar on the Doge side.
Yeah, I mean, Dogecoin mining is, even though it's a similar model, it's vastly different because it allows us to be 100% mining through ASICs while 100% also training AI, which is a huge, like you said, our hope is to really power a revolution. So, this is a big update, and I think it's a bigger deal than most understand. This is not just about Qubic mining another coin. There's a fundamental difference. I also think this is truly when we say useful proof of work, I feel like useful proof of work is the new kid on the block. And maybe we're setting a precedent for the industry that energy does not need to be wasted. And so it seems like I don't want to say a simple idea, or it makes sense for Doge miners to want to join Qubic to be part of something bigger. But first of all, obviously, we're going to make it economically attractive for them to join the network. Second of all, they get to contribute to something that's actually much greater than just crypto mining in itself.
I can just agree. You do a quite good summary for the people which couldn't follow my up and down.
So
It's good.
my non-technical brain can simplify it for everybody.
I like that. I like that. We should do that more.
Okay, I do my best. So how long will the mining of Doge last? That was one of the questions that came into the chat.
We don't have an end date, so it's basically open. It's open because we can do both at the same time. It's what you mentioned before. So we have the resources for the AI initiative, and on the other side we have the outsourced mining. I see it as a bridge to other useful work.
Yeah.
So it's not just I mean, you could also see it from the other perspective, that's saying, okay, but mining Doge is not useful because we're just hashing some unuseful hash. Of course, from the perspective from Doge, this is right. But if you look at the perspective from Qubic, it's not right, because for us it's useful because we generate a revenue back into the Qubic process.
Yeah, somebody had said that it's puzzling how you're doing 100% training in AI and 100% mining at the same time. And I think at first it's a little bit hard to wrap your head around it. But when we were mining Monero through Qubic, we were mining through the same infrastructure, which is the GPUs and CPUs. We no longer have to use that economic energy. We now are going to be mining Doge through ASICs. So that's why we can dedicate 100% of the power behind to training AI at the same time. So I hope that makes sense.
For me, it makes sense.
Okay. We can actually, as Joetom mentioned, and I'm not sure if maybe they weren't here for this, but this is opening us up as a chain to mine any other thing. So this is future proof, his exact words. So if we feel in the future, it would be more attractive maybe to plug into another network and start mining, we have the ability to do so. And I think that was a big wow for me. And I hope everybody feels the same way. Let's see, what else? What are the steps preparedness for the Qubic Doge mining? We do, if you want to go over the transition phase, we do have a blog. I dropped the URL so you can better understand. Joetom did go through some of what you need to do if you're a miner to be prepared, or what hardware you need. If Joetom, would you mind sharing the slides after this? Maybe we could send them to him, because I think it's a little hard to read on the stream.
Yes, of course, we can share it. No issue with that.
Maybe we can drop this into the Dogecoin chat on Discord. In addition, we usually, our team in marketing usually always does an AMA recap in a blog. So we'll take some of that, those slides as well, and we'll put that in a blog hopefully by tomorrow, so you guys can have access to that as well. So can you explain the difference between Agarth and Grok and or ChatGPT, like an LLM?
It's two different. It's absolutely two different cases.
Yeah.
First, I need to mention that I'm not the right person to answer this, because I'm not the architect of Agarth. And we have two really good scientists which can explain the difference much more in depth than I can. Basically, what from my understanding is that a LLM is some trained model. So you give him input, and it learns from your input, basically. So you can imagine it's to my friends, I always say, like, look, it's math, it's statistics. So the model learned by so many input, and it's just probability, which is my next word I would to say. So if I start with a sentence, and based on the input, it has a probability to say, okay, my next word will be whatever. And on Agarth, we are going a completely different way. We don't want to train Agarth by having I don't know, these inputs. So it should learn from itself. It should evolve. It's like you can compare it with a child maybe, which in the beginning has no clue how the world works, and that's also with the same with Agar. So in the beginning, it has no clue how to solve things, but then it will evolve and learn how to solve things. So this decouples us from a specific input to yeah, it opens the world for everything basically.
Yeah.
And that's why we call it research. It's something which does not exist. It's something it has to be researched and created, and that's also the reason why we have a scientific how does it called, like department in Qubic, which is basically just doing things like this.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think another way, just to simplify this, is that a tool, an LLM, something like ChatGPT or Grok, they're always going to give you an answer. So they're always going to give you an output. They are not fact checking whether it's right or wrong. Like you said, it's based on just the probability. So there's, people take everything that ChatGPT says as if it's the truth, but it may not very well be the truth, and that becomes problematic. So ultimately, what the scientific team is doing with the research phase, and they're actually getting recognized for this now in publications and the invitation to present at multiple conferences around the world because of the work that they're doing, is there's a yes, a no, and a maybe state, or an I don't know state. And the thing is, when it says I don't know, it's aiming to learn. So it is like the evolution of the human brain, which is very different than what we currently have where we are in the phase of AI with LLMs. So hopefully that gives you an explanation on the difference. What does this mean? I'm assuming he means Dogecoin mining, but what does this mean long-term for home miners with CPUs and GPUs?
Well, I cannot go into what it really will mean on long term for a specific case, but as we already mentioned, it's not that we skip the AI training, which is based on CPU and GPU.
Yeah.
So
we still have a home for you. Don't worry.
yes. Actually, yes. For people which are not that long with Qubic, I may repeat that the AI training we do is research. So this means that the algorithm is changed regularly, mostly within 2-3 month cycles. We change the research we do, and for example, we're going to start also with the Noraxon part. So what the science team is researching, but may also play a role into the AI training side of Qubic. Maybe that they need specific CPUs, maybe that they need specific GPUs. We don't know today. But what we know is that we will have this both sides. So it's not, we don't quit this AI research.
Yeah. In fact, we're dedicating more resources to it. So that's good news. Yeah. Somebody had said, for those who are not into mining, I am a Dogecoin holder and I want to swap my Dogecoin into Qubic. Oh, this is music to my ears now. Where can I exchange my Doge and send it into my official Qubic wallet address? I am in the USA. So if you go to CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko and you search for Qubic and you go under markets, you're going to see everywhere in which Qubic is currently listed, and you can see which one pertains to you in the United States. It's different state by state because I'm also in the United States, so it's a little bit tricky. It also depends on what state you're located in. Some states cater to certain exchanges, some don't. We do also have an integration with Banksa, so that could be an option for you. And this information is also available on our website under partners on the homepage. So you can find everything there. But welcome to the family. Yes. Can Qubic work on my lawn? That's useful work. You never know. You never know. Okay. how can it be differentiated with other AI cryptos in the market? I have a lot to say on this, but do you want to take that?
No, go. I'm
Okay.
interested in your view.
I think a lot of AI cryptos in the market are not really AI cryptos. I think they're just simply like a copy and paste of a bot, basically. And I know they're not doing what we're doing here. That's for darn sure. So it is nothing of the same, quite honestly. And I think that's the good news, is that Qubic is not, we are so outside of the box. We're not looking to be like everybody else. And we're taking the less traveled path, which in some cases, it takes a lot of time and effort, and more time and effort, and a really good solid team that's relentless and consistent in the work that they do. But we have a great founder, and we set our sights on a really big vision, and that's what we want to accomplish. And we're not backing down from that. And I think that's what really separates us from other AI crypto coins.
Yeah, I might add some specific case. So others maybe try to bring LLMs, like these traditional agents, to their network, and that's exactly what we don't do. That's what I explained before with the AGORD initiative. So it's not, we could integrate, for example, LLMs as oracles. That's a possibility we can do, but the chain itself is not, it's not meant to run LLMs or things like this. So it's also a big difference.
Mm-hmm. Okay, best way to join Qubic is to join the network and start mining. That was one of the comments. So
that's good.
There you go, guys. You heard it here first. Well, I really appreciate. Oh, this is a good question to wrap it up on. Okay, where do you see Qubic in 5 to 10 years? And thank you for all the answers. I'm new to Qubic. Well, first of all, welcome, welcome to the future of crypto. We're right here. And where do you see Qubic in 5 to 10 years?
I see us coming out of the, well, now I'm limited with my English. Coming out of the dark. It's like from an architectural or technical point of view, we are still finishing the last parts of the vision. So in 5 to 10 years, we have finished all the technical aspects of the vision. Means that we are not anymore this child as we are today. What this means to the economics and to the like the valuation of Qubic, you can create your own opinion, but that's what I think. So we will grow up when we let's say, for like 3 years ago we were the baby. Now we are like in our, like maybe in the teens, and in 5 to 10 years we are a grown human which with AI integrated. I mean, we have all this vision, and this will be there. That's where I see Qubic in 5 to 10 years. So
Yeah.
I would say 5 years, and in 10 years, that's, to be honest, too far.
Another stratosphere. So I think that's a good point. You know, I look at a lot of people on the internet always like to compare, and usually they use price as a comparison. But it's not really a fair point of comparison, because a lot of times they're comparing us to chains that are a lot more mature than we are. We're still, as you mentioned, very young in the amount of time that Qubic has been actually functioning and real. So when you look at it like that, and you can understand how early we truly are and the progress that we've made in this short amount of time, it's extremely monumental. It puts things in perspective for me on a regular basis, because I'm looking at other cryptos as a point of comparison, because I do marketing. So it's something that comes up naturally. And that was just something that recently came to mind for me. So I think as you mentioned, we were a baby and now we're in the child phase. And in the next 5 years, we become an adult. And, with that comes a lot of, let's say, what do you want to say? What's the word that I want to use? I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, like fine wine. We're like aged like fine wine, but we have a couple more questions if you want to answer them. Can you say more as to how you are accomplishing the Doge mining steps to help train Qubic towards AGI? I don't know if I got that right. Can you say more as to how accomplishing the Doge mining, I guess, helps train Qubic towards AGI?
Because, well, it's just my view, but because it's like, if you, because it gives back revenues to Qubic, so it's like, it's like you would compare it with a company. So you're a company and you wanna sell a product, and Doge is or a service, and Doge mining is a service we sell and we earn for this, and Qubic as the whole network earns out of it, and
it's revenue generating.
Exactly, and that drives back to the AI research. So that's basically the win-win situation.
Exactly. So any company is based on, obviously, when they're revenue generating, that's an attractive point, especially for investors. So the fact that we can utilize this as an exterior revenue generator for Qubic to additionally fund more AI research, that is, I guess, how it comes into play. What is the estimated, I don't know if you know the answer to this, maybe you do. What is the estimated Qubic burn rate in a 12-month period? I don't even know if you can estimate it.
No, I can't answer. I remember that we promised to show some burn statistics. I already prepared some. We had in the last 10 epochs, that's like 10 weeks, I think we had already 2 epochs or 2 weeks which the burn was higher than the emission.
Yes. And was that the first time ever?
Actually, yes.
That's
I'm not 100% sure, but it must be, because otherwise we would have noticed it.
That's a huge accomplishment, guys. The burn was greater than the emissions in an epoch. An epoch is a week if you're new here. So every epoch is 7 days, starts from Wednesday, goes through Wednesday. So we actually burned more than we emitted, which is great. Now, in addition to that, it's hard to estimate the number because there are so many contributing factors to the burn, to the rate of burn. Obviously, IPOs burn. That was one of the reasons why we became deflationary in that particular epoch. Execution fees for smart contracts, oracles, these are all ways to burn. So obviously, the more usage we have on the network, the more burn we're going to have. Additionally, if every 12 months, we have the ability to have the remaining supply. So like Bitcoin, which has a halving every 4 years, Qubic has a halving every 52 weeks, every 52 epochs. So this is another way to reduce the supply. So when you look at it like that, it's really hard to estimate the amount of burn. We could probably tell you what we burned in the last 12 months, but I don't know that's really going to dictate what the next 12 months will look like. Yeah. Okay. No. So that's the answer. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of questions.
That's good. It's good.
Yeah, I love that. I love when there's a lot of interaction like this. This is great. So when a CPU GPU mining network switches entirely to training mode, is this feature used exclusively for Agarth, or Doge mining support, or does it serve other purposes as well?
Actually, in the beginning, it's for AGuard only, so it's just for research purposes. But we introduced, don't take me on weeks, but we introduced like a few weeks or maybe even months ago the ability to have like different tasks also within the research channel. Means that what I mentioned before, that for example, if from the science team the Nurexon research comes to Qubic, it may be that, for example, that some GPUs will work on the Nurexon research and some others will work on AGuard research. That's a possibility. But right now, for the start, also to have a clean transition, we focus on just AGuard. It's not from a technical perspective, it's not good to do too many things at the same time. It can cause crashes or inconsistencies, and that's what we don't want. So we focus on a clean transition, and then we move forward to the next step.
And let me just point out that the dev team has been cooking. So the February stats came back, and we were one of the highest percentage of growth on GitHub, right? So that's pretty amazing. Yeah. When Lambo. Soon. Let's see. Anything else? There's questions coming in on both screens that I'm looking at. Awesome work. What is the goal of AGarth, and how can the community use it?
Well, this is also something you have to ask the AGuard team. I just try to give my opinion on that now. So the goal is clearly to do deep AI research. So, and in the end is, you may heard it, is this AGI, is this artificial general intelligence. It's basically to build this child which can evolve its intelligence. Mm-hmm. It's not the goal is not to copy content or to copy LLMs. It's to evolve. And Stephanie, you said it really well, to like to build this brain stuff, like how the neurons are connected to each other, how they communicate, and how they also store or save information within this network. That was my opinion of the goal of AGuard. There was a second part of the question.
I think they want to also know, like, how will it potentially impact the Qubic community?
I can tell how it will impact Qubic, because as soon as AGuard kicks in, it can take over parts of the network. So the goal or the vision from the beginning, that's what we were talking before. The vision is clearly that Qubic is turning into an AI network. Means that currently static smart contracts built by you and me, by human people, will evolve into AI smart contracts, and they will work on their own, basically on their own knowledge, on their own evolution. And that's the vision where we see us in the future. So, and how this comes to the community, give input, contribute, build smart contracts, use the network, challenge us. I also, for example, like to see community giving us or reflecting stats back and saying, hey, why do we have these stats? What's going on there? And because all this feedback makes us better, or can bring Qubic to the next level. So yeah.
Somebody said, sounds like Agarth is alive. And basically it is. That's the thing. Also, if you guys are here for the first time, we have a slew of blog articles on Neuraction. We release one maybe every several weeks. There's a Neuraction Intelligence Academy. So you can go through and better understand how all of these things are running in parallel at the moment, but the idea is to start integrating and weaving this into Qubic itself, the research of it. So it's really interesting, and I actually love. I like edit the articles, so I actually love getting a chance to read them in advance. So what else do we have here? How do Oracle machines in the Qubic network validate mining shares?
The Oracle machine itself does not validate it. The Oracle machine, there are also blog articles which describes this.
Yeah, I was going to say that. There's actually a blog article that goes over this exactly.
Yeah, if you want to know it in detail, go to the blog article and read it. There are also some schemes or like illustrations how it works. But in short, the any share which fluctuates in the network is picked up from a computer, is sent to the Oracle machine, and the Oracle machine forwards it to a dedicated Oracle, and the Oracle recalculates the hash and says then yes, it's good or it's not good. We have this, and then it goes the whole way back, and that's basically how it works. So the Oracle machine is just a connector. We build a specific Oracle which the Oracle machine connects to and uses this information.
Okay. And if you want further clarification, we do have a pretty in-depth blog article. You can search for oracles on our blog page and you should be able to find it pretty easily. How does the developer get tokens to run a smart contract if there are no fees?
Yeah, you must forget about what you know from existing blockchains. So in Qubic, the smart contract runs on its own. It has, for example, so-called shareholders, and we have a smart contract auction. Each smart contract starts with a smart contract auction, which means that these shares are auctioned, and the prices the shareholders pay for these shares are like the initial pot of the smart contract to execute.
Yeah.
And then in the future, if your smart contract runs, it needs to generate its own fees. So the smart contract cannot just be a dump, let's say, sorry, this is my words, but a dump idiot smart contract which just do nothing. This will not work. So it needs to be something business-wise, which is generating rewards or which is generating something, and then takes the fees from there. So the dev can load it if it wants, but actually the smart contract itself needs to be sustainable.
Yeah. So it basically forces efficiency. So that's kind of what he's saying. So we are encouraging efficient smart contracts so they don't just utilize a bunch of resources. And the only fees that there are their execution fees. So when a smart contract goes to IPO and they have these auctions that raise the funds, the Qubic is burned, but it goes into like a vault, and that's the amount of fees that they have access to run their network until those fees expend themselves. And then from there, they would have to have a use case that's strong enough to generate enough fees, right? Okay. Yeah, I think we got all the questions. So somebody's saying, one person was saying, well, a couple people, like when layer one, and this has been a question that we have answered again and again and again. Why is it so hard to access a layer one? So I know sometimes when you don't get immediate results, it seems like things are not happening behind the scenes, but I can assure you that the conversations and the contacts, they're all being made, they're continuously being made. And when the time is right, the listing will come. So that's, I think, a pretty way to wrap it up for the day. But stay tuned, guys. We are less than 2 days away from Dogecoin mining integrating into the Qubic network. I think this will be such an historical moment. The community, the team, the support has been wild, really, so far. So I'm pretty pumped, and I hope you are too. We also have a scheduled AMA the day after, so on April 2nd. It's Thursday. We always do a twice a month all hands AMA, so you guys can look forward to that. We do have a Luma event. If you want to register in advance, it'll send you a reminder. But thank you for being here today, and thank you for bringing such amazing questions. Really, it's been awesome, and I hope you got a lot out of it and your questions have been answered. If not, please still join us on Discord to continue the conversation, to use the network, to build a smart contract, to experience what we get the joy of experiencing every day. So thank you so much. And Joetom, do you have any last and final words?
No, I can 100% agree to what you said. It's amazing also to see the support from the community around this Doge transition phases. We have from a tech side perspective, you can see that our devs are like going into their tunnels and they work, and sometimes we are not that communicative in such phases because we're just in our tunnels, and it gives us a big smile to see how the community reacts and how the community support us, and that's just amazing, and it gives us energy to continue this tunnel work.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. There is so much work, you guys, that goes on behind the scenes. And like Joetom mentioned, sometimes it's hard to see that because we're just in our lane doing our work. But when we look up and we just see the excitement and the support of the community and all the amazing things, we've been published in so many places recently, we've been trending all over the internet. Like it's why we do what we do. And it definitely helps us when we're putting in the work on the weekends or late at nights or early mornings to bring this all together. So thank you for, being an awesome community. We so appreciate your support. It definitely helps make our jobs easier. And yes, thank you so much, guys, for being here. And we'll talk to you soon. Buying more right now. Okay. See you on the other side.
Hi, everybody. Thanks.